Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast, it's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic, you can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com, or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
In this wasteland, I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead.
Q-Trail.
A man reduced to a single instinct. Survive.
It is by my hand! You arise! From the ashes of this world!
We are not things! We are not things!
Where is she taking them? I want them back! They're my property!
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Want to get through this?
Let's go!
As the world fell, each of us in our own way was broken. It was hard to know who was more crazy. Me or everyone else.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Dude, no! Oh!
Well, I take it you didn't hear anything.
No!
Not even the opening of our show?
Yep, I heard my little spiel about Moviesucktastic, but then after that was all silence. But that doesn't matter because this is Moviesucktastic 196.
That's right. 196.
Yes. And we're reviewing Oscar movies. White gold! And this episode...
I have a startling revelation that I think I just realized.
What?
I don't think the last video that we made, your voice is there, but I don't think the picture of your box is there.
Oh well. Well, as long as I'm in this one, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Why is this frozen on the screen? What is up
I don't know.
with that?
What'd you do?
I
What'd you
didn't do anything.
I'm fine on this end. I don't know what your problem is.
I'm not getting any video. What the fuck? Oh, for Christ's sakes.
Our video feed fail?
No. I'm trying to play all of these.
Oh, background. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to share. Before we started recording, Joey and I were talking about what we're going to do for the 200th anniversary, and we were talking about maybe compiling a list of our favorite episodes and favorite moments. And specifically, I mentioned I know somebody whose favorite moment is Jaws 3D. When we did the whole whisper, shark, whisper. And as you started the show, I have my 3 monitors. I have a background of movie screenshots that come up at random. And as you started the show, the one that comes up is the guy whispering in Luke Gossett Jr.'s ear from Jaws 3. Like, what are the fucking odds? That's great.
That is great.
And I wanted, before we start talking about this movie's Oscar, I wanted to share a movie moment, a family movie moment, I guess. Because, yeah, I've got a family, too, even though it's not, like, on paper. But my younger stepdaughter is big into the new Star Wars film. And so we were rewatching all the old ones and the newer ones.
Uh-huh.
And so we were on the Attack of the Clones. Is that the last one of that series?
No, that's the second one in the original.
Revenge of the
Not
Sith?
the original. It's Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Okay, we're watching Revenge of the Sith at the end, where Darth Vader becomes Darth Vader, and
Okay.
he's telling him, so what happened? Well, what about Padme? And they're like, you killed her. It's like, oh no, I didn't. It was like, no, she's dead. It's like no. and both my stepdaughters are watching it with us, Catherine and Lilith, and they both started giggling insanely, and they start saying, no. They thought it was the funniest fucking thing.
Right. It's supposed to be this dramatic, heartbreaking scene. Well, no, it's it's a scene. I don't default them for it.
But they're still horrible children.
I'm going to go out. I'm going to speak in their defense and say that no, they're not horrible children.
No one chastised
that scene did not come off genuine.
Not obviously.
No, there was no heartbreak in that scene. Nobody cared. But you know what everyone cared about? The awful no. It was awful. It was so bad.
So now around the house, every now and then, at random, you'll just hear in like another room, no. And it brings us closer together as a family because we're mocking someone's cry of anger because they think they've killed their wife and
all their limbs being cut off.
Yeah, and that's hilarious.
And let me tell you, I was actually watching Revenge of the Sith last week. Last week, I was watching it, and wow, what a bad movie! But here's the crazy thing: that's the best of the prequels. That's how sad that is.
That is really sad. But I got us on a tangent. We're reviewing another type of future film. Well, that's technically a past film, which doesn't make any fucking sense. But we're doing the post-apocalyptic sequel, slash reboot of
Mad Max Fury Road. Right,
and which is up for Best Oscar. And what else is it up for, sir?
Well, I do have that in front of me. Let me.
If you're looking for it, I've got it. It's also up for Best Cinematography, Costume Design, Directing, Film Editing, Makeup and Hairstyling, Production Design.
Makeup and hair.
Sound. Yes.
Because Charlize Theron had no hair.
All right, it's makeup / hairstyling, so it's I'm guessing more makeup. Sound editing.
All right.
Sound mixing. I don't know what the difference is. Visual effects, and that's it.
So it's up for 9, 10?
9 or 10, something like that. Yeah.
10. Well, that's a good amount.
Sure.
But here's the thing: 8 of them are technical.
Yes, and it deserves those.
Yeah, it really does. And it's gonna win a bunch of them for the technical stuff. Editing, there is no fucking contest This film gets the editing Oscar hands down, with the amount of action on screen, with the amount of fast action on screen, and the way it's completely seamless in this movie. There's absolutely, I don't care what else is nominated. This gets it. That's a guarantee.
Makeup. I think it's a tie between Mad Max and The Revenant, and I think it leans a bit towards Mad Max just because, as good as The Revenant is, I think some of the makeup is obviously makeup.
Right.
Whereas, like, I mean, there's only so realistic you can make, like, wounds and stuff, but you still kind of like, well, yeah, but it's makeup.
Right.
And I think Mad Max kind of pushes that a bit beyond.
Sure.
Just makeup.
All of the the albinos, Morton Joe, and just everything that encompasses that.
Not taking away from The Revenant at all, but I think
no way.
leans towards that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so it's up for a lot. Now, Best Picture, it's nominated.
Yeah.
And I still say, if it was 5 Oscar nominations, this one doesn't make the cut.
And just like I mentioned last episode, Miller gets nominated for director, and that's usually a very big indicator of what the 5 would be.
But usually, film, don't think makes the final cut on a 5 film.
I'm gonna disagree with that, and here's the reason why.
You're wrong, but go ahead.
I'm not wrong. It's incredible how many top 10 and top 5 lists that Mad Max made this year. Based on that alone, I have to disagree with you that I do think that this would be one of the 5. I really do.
Sci-fi genre films, far and few between.
And it's a rarity, and this is one of those films that everybody that saw it absolutely fucking fell in love with it.
Right, but that doesn't equal Oscar nomination. Loving the film and Oscar nomination, 2 different things.
Well, obviously they went out of their way to vote for it because loving it did turn into a nomination. Right,
but because there's 10 slots now instead of 5. That's my point. I'm just going to tell you right now, if people are voting knowing that there's only 5 slots, and if only 5 slots can make it, I guarantee you, Mad Max doesn't get it, The Martian doesn't get it, and between The Big Short and Spotlight, one of those drops to the side, maybe.
No, I think both of those make it in.
Or maybe Brooklyn doesn't make it.
Yeah, probably Brooklyn doesn't make it.
Yeah, one of those 3.
I mean, people are calling Spotlight to win Best Picture. I know you're thinking Room, but
when I've seen Spotlight already, so when we talk about it, I'll tell you why I don't agree with that.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet, but I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be a future episode. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
But right now, we're reviewing Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes, as I mentioned in 2 episodes ago, the nomination episode, Scott and Holly, they showed up for my birthday. It was a surprise, and we all went to go to the movies. We went to eat first, then we went to go see Mad Max. It was one of only the 2 films that I absolutely had to see in a theater that summer. The other being the Avengers: Age of Ultron.
I don't remember anybody. I don't remember anybody taking me to a movie for my birthday. That was weird.
I want to say that's not true.
I'm kidding. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. But it was one of the 2 films that I absolutely needed to see, and it did not disappoint. Scott didn't like the ending. I had much less of a problem with it.
Spoiler alert. We'll wait till the end of the show to discuss the ending because I want to actually mention it.
Okay.
So spoiler alert, at some point before the end of the show, if you haven't seen the film yet, turn off when we start talking about the ending because I am going to reveal the ending.
Okay.
That's all. Nothing else major is going to get spoiled. It's a fun film.
So, basic plot of the film, not to get too deep and too long, the basic plot of the film is that Morton Joe has 5 wives. Okay? They're all fucking hot. They're like ridiculously hot.
Wait. This is a post-apocalypse world.
Yeah, but they're all like super hot, even in a post-apocalyptic with fucking radiation and all kinds of crazy stuff. They're like perfect. They're like models. But they're his. and that's his property, and that's his thing.
Because he raised him that way. Think of like Joe Piscopo
Or
or Seinfeld.
Are you thinking?
Or Seinfeld, like they get the underage girls and they kind of model them and grow them into what they want to be. That's what this is, except in the desert.
Morton Joe Piscopo? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Morton Joe Piscopo.
He looks just like he does from Dead Heat, like at the end of Dead Heat. Anyway, Charlize Theron, who you get the notion that she used to be something that he maybe admired or loved, but he's hurt her in some way. Like she's got something against him.
I never got that at all.
You didn't take that? I took that away from the movie. That she's got something against him. Like there's some sort of like revenge going on. Like she's rescuing the 5 wives. Yeah, and there's a reason. 1, she wants to help them, but 2, she wants to fuck over a Morton Joe. Because
I get that too, but I never got the idea that she was like part of the harem at one point.
Not so much the harem. I didn't say that. Someone that he loved or cared about, but no longer does, and that he hurt her in some way.
Wow, I really disagree with you on that. I never read that at all from the film.
I get that feeling.
No, because she's out. No.
No,
I disagree. That's all. I got a different read on the film. It's film theory criticism. Everybody gets their own. No, I just disagree with that. That's all.
Well, I mean, I didn't look up anything, or it's just the feeling that I got that she's doing it for other reasons other than that she just wants to be, a good person and save the 5 wives. I think she wants to fuck. She wants to fuck over Morton Joe because I think that he hurt her in some way.
I thought it was just because he's an evil overlord.
Yeah. And that he hurt her in some way.
I didn't get that at all from any point of the film.
Anyway.
But keep going. But anyway, she does that and she runs in the Mad Max.
She does that. Hook up Max to one of the cars, giving a transfusion to one of them as they're driving. Like he's basically a blood bag to them. And
they call him that. They call him the blood bag. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And they're, tattooing his back, saying that he's O positive, blood donor, and just all kinds of crazy shit. So, that's essentially the main plot of the story, is Max tries to help Charlize Theron, or Furiosa, that's her name in the movie, help save the 5 wives from a Morton Joe.
While all of these other overlords from these different, like, weird post-apocalyptic cities...
Yeah, they have to drive through their regions.
Track them down. Now... the one reason I love this film over the originals, why I think it's so much better than the originals, is the film starts with this little homage. Like not homage as much as like a recap. It's a voiceover, and normally I hate voiceovers.
But it works.
But
here.
it's what?
But it actually works here.
It works wonderfully because it's a Mad Max voicing over, talking about. Pretty much explaining just to the audience, just to set the tone. And again, normally explaining it, I'm against, but it really helps the whole film because all it really does, the voiceover and like the following 5 minutes after that, just explains in a nutshell. After the world ends, the survivors lose their fucking minds.
Yep.
And it's unlike the other 3 films. It really helps. It really does. It just prepares you. It says, listen. This is a world gone mad. Mad Max isn't the only mad person, and he even says, I can't tell who's more mad, them or me." And so it really helps set that up because then when you get like halfway through the film and they have like this army of like road killing cars driving through the desert after them, and one of them is a truck, and behind it they have a musician bungee corded to a giant speaker as he plays a guitar shooting fire, and all you think is, yeah, that makes sense.
I actually just had this conversation with someone the other day. It was, who it was? It was actually one of my friends. His name is Ted, and he's got a band called Mireman, which we actually played a lot of their music on the show that one time. And I was talking about that Mad Max. It's like, yeah, they got a guy in the front, and he's just playing guitar, shooting fire from it, and it's like, that's awesome. And you don't bat an eye. You're like, yeah, they're all fucking nuts.
Yeah, and it underlines the whole thing. Everything is just insanity. Everybody's lost their fucking minds because, well, how do you really cling to sanity after you survive the apocalypse? And then, so everyone's in insane, despots ruling without control are insane to begin with.
Yeah.
Put them in post-apocalypse and fucking forget it. Yeah. So when they're driving these weird fucking behemoths and they have like the pole guys going, yeah, of course a madman thought of. And there's not one part where like, well, why would they do that? You're just like, yeah, of course they do that. Why wouldn't they fucking do that? Yeah, it's just everybody's fucking insane. It sells the rest of the film. It's so important. I love the beginning. It sets it up perfectly. And Mad Max is like, so he's mad, but it's like he's almost the sanest one there as well, and which makes him insane in the first place. And that's the great dichotomy with the Mad Max character. He's probably the sanest one there, which makes him a madman.
Yeah.
Really, odd man out, as they do the equation. So it's fucking beautiful.
And I love that they refer to gasoline as guzzolene. There's just there's no reason for it.
Little touches.
Yeah, but I just love it. It's guzzolene. Okay, I'm in.
Well, why not?
Why not, right? Guzzolene.
But I mean, for a film to sell the insanity, it does it so well. And then after that does that setup, it never looks back. It never tries to explain why they would do anything. It just tells you, okay, there's a city over here. They make all the gasoline. They make all the bullets. There's 3 cities, and there's this desert, and we have this thing going. And you don't need to know more because all that matters is you're just going to shit yourself every 10 minutes for the rest of this film.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is so
pretty much
fucking over the top special and
a lot of stunts, like old school stunts. Yeah. They were using a lot of old school tricks. A lot of the stunts were real. Very few. The only times that they really use a lot of CGI for stunts and whatnot is like, okay, they're going to drive into this huge sandstorm. It's like, obviously that's CGI, and then they show all of the carnage and the chaos inside the sandstorm.
Right.
So it's like that's CGI too. But once you step outside of that, it's just all real stunts, and it's very impressive.
It's insanely impressive, and like they have the one thing where they have the cars with these like 30-foot poles, and there's guys on top, and they're just swinging back and forth, and like your first instinct is like, yeah, of course it's CGI. And it's not.
No.
There's like these fucking circus performers on these cars speeding through the desert, and they're just flopping back and forth with these fucking poles.
Ironic, I don't know if you're actually watching that as we're recording it, but I have a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and that's the scene that they're showing, these guys on the fucking poles. It's just...
I'm not watching. I'm physics, so I just knew that was showing.
It's just... mentioned that. Okay. It's just real... I'm watching it now. It's fucking crazy. And if anyone's watching this with us, it's nuts. It's just all real shit.
It's that kind of dedication. That's the only reason this film actually earns the nomination that it wouldn't have gotten if it was five films.
Right.
It's because the amount of film craft, getting that kind of real live stunt work done on that scale, like Hal Needham would just like weep. You know,
it's funny. I was actually looking at his resume today.
Megaforce if Megaforce had a $200 million budget, Hal Needham would have had those fucking pole guys going for no reason.
That's the shirt I'm wearing. There you go. Deeds, not words. There you go. Oh my god!
I gotta say, when Google had the suffrage thing,
I posted that.
You posted that. What's great is that morning I looked at it and I thought to myself, that's Megaforce. And I just kept going because I was busy at work. And then 2 hours later, I glanced at Facebook and you posted it. It's like, motherfucker, of course you thought the same thing. Yes. God damn it.
It's one of the many reasons we have a podcast.
Not to be weird, but brother from another mother. Right there. Shit like that is like, holy fuck. Like separated at birth, man. I knew you'd fucking get that.
I was like, I've seen this somewhere else. Yeah.
And I saw, and I literally, I'm not even joking. I thought to myself, I'd love to post a picture of that with the movie poster at the same time, but I got too much work to do this morning. And I let it go. And then 2 hours later, oh, Joey did it. We're fine. Fuck yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, no. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I got 5 free minutes.
And please, I mean, I've been doing the covers, the banners on the Facebook page for a long time by my, just throwing them up there.
Yeah.
And I just pick a picture from the movie and throw it up there. I don't get too fancy. I got to give you credit for the last episode when we did the forest.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the Oscar nominees. You went fucking out of the way to do a great banner there, and I covered it up this week, so I feel bad. But when I first glanced, I was like, oh, he used a picture from the forest. I was like, wait a minute, he has like Oscar in there. And it's like, have you seen my twin? It's like, oh fuck, man, you took time. I just jerk it off in like 2 minutes and throw it up there. It's like, oh yeah, here's a picture.
I'm like, all right, I have to put up that you did the review of The Forest, and I helped a little bit, but you saw the movie, and we talked about the Oscar nominations that episode. I'm like, well, how do I tie the two together? I'm like, should I just throw an Oscar in there with just the wording? I'm like, you know what? That hand looks like it could be holding an Oscar. And then I'm like, you know what? I gotta have her say something.
And also, by the way,
yeah.
last shot of the film.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Not your fault.
I didn't know.
No, they show it in the trailer. It's open fucking game. I thought it was even funnier that you used that picture.
Oh.
But my favorite part.
Well, I did that last week too. Like real quick, I did that last week too. I put up the Star Wars January Awakens. I put a little voice bubble for Rey. I want to do that more often. So I don't know how often I'll do it during these Oscar reviews because I don't know how much we could do.
If I put a banner up and you want to put one over it, just fucking do it because I don't put as much thought into them as you do. So please, sir, please.
All right. Getting back to the movie.
For Mad Max Fury Road, my favorite part of the film, my absolute favorite part of the film, is the part of the film where Mel Gibson doesn't have a cameo.
You know what?
I love that part.
Yeah, and if he does, let's just say they put him in the crowd just so that his presence is somewhere in the film. They don't even list him in the credits. It's not even like he's not in the movie at all. But I was watching one of these behind the scenes, and George Miller was talking about how he was in meetings to do this next film, and they basically said, no Mel, no Max. And that turned out, obviously, it's not true. And with that said, though, as much as I loved this movie, I think Mel Gibson could have still done Mad Max. Absolutely.
I really feel like Mel Gibson was probably on the same page. I think he was like, you know what, I'm not doing this shit. I'm doing other stuff right now.
Tom Hardy said that he had lunch with Mel Gibson, basically to talk to him about Mad Max, and he just kind of said he wanted his blessing, basically, which is a very nice thing to do, And Mel Gibson said, he passed the torch, and he was okay with Tom Hardy doing it. I'm sure, he probably really wasn't, but got over it quick. But
I'm not a huge Tom Hardy fan.
I like Tom Hardy. I do. And I like the movies that he makes. He makes good movies.
I'm saying I could take him or leave him. That's all I'm saying.
Would you have rather seen Mel Gibson in this then?
No, I'm just saying that I'm ambivalent about him. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad role. I'm not saying I didn't like him. I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just kind of ambivalent. It's just like he's just the guy that keeps showing up in films. I'm like, okay, he's okay.
I mean, there's a reason why he keeps showing up in films, because I find that he's a very good actor, and
I guess
he's very talented.
What it is? It's like when you get like somebody like Ryan Gosling, who's like popular,
right?
But then he does something like God only God forgives,
and Drive, sure.
And Drive, and you're like, it's like, holy fuck! So he actually can act too. Right. And it's like this little glimpse is like, oh wait, so he's not just like the latest actor, heartthrob, whatever. Like he actually is got some chops. I just never get that with Tom Hardy.
Yeah, well, he's not that kind of actor, though.
He's not. No, I'll give you that. But I don't know. It's not a criticism against him. It's me. There's something about him where I'm always like, it's okay. Good. But I'm not. I'm not looking. I'm not signing up for the fan club.
Okay.
That's all. It's a personal thing.
I've enjoyed Tom Hardy in films ever since I saw him for the first time in Bronson. So.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't that film didn't move me.
I liked that film so much that I mailed Scott a copy, like snail mail.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did mail me.
I mean, this is 7, 8 years ago that I did that.
And 3 years later, I watched it.
You bastard. You probably watched it off my Plex too.
Yeah, and then I was like,
And that movie, it's like they took the theme music from Excalibur and they utilized it in the film. I loved it even more.
And I didn't notice.
Yeah, I know that. But that's what's his face. The guy that directed Bronson is the guy that directed Only for God Forgives and Drive.
Right.
The same director.
Right.
Refn. So his last name is Refn or something like that.
It's some weird shit. Yeah, that's what I love about you and me, though. You and I, though. You and me. That's what I love about me. That's what I love about you
and I. I think that's right.
Us. That's what I love about us. It's like you and I really have a lot in common movie-wise. That's why we gel so well, and we really agree with a lot of stuff. But stuff like Bronson, or Fifth Element, always there's that one little thin line where it's just like, oh yeah, this is awesome. It's like, yeah, it's good. I mean,
it's all right.
And then stuff like Fifth Element, yeah, I love that movie, and I'm like, fuck that shit. It's just like that weird line. But it's so random that you can never predict the film where we're gonna clash heads with, like that fucking vampire film. Who knew that one little that one shitty vampire film would be like a lot that would become the line?
Which vampire film?
You know which one? One with the umbrellas.
Oh, you're Daybreakers?
Daybreakers, that piece of shit. Yeah.
Well, I didn't love that movie, but I didn't think it was as bad as you said it was.
No, you liked it.
No, I did like it.
That's when you were having your first child. We were doing the solo episodes back and forth.
Oh,
that was one where you did an episode and you were like, I like this. And my episode solo was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What? So I love that you never know when we're going to split hairs. And but Mad Max isn't one of them except for the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, special effects are great. I mean, the script is great. It's good. I mean, it's well written. I wouldn't say it's groundbreaking.
It's not groundbreaking, but what they do is they take a lot of elements, special effects, and real stunts, and things like that, and nothing groundbreaking. But
right now, as far as screenwriting goes, yeah. I did have some qualms, like the whole thing of show not tell. The third time they actually literally mentioned redemption in the film, I'm like rolling in my seat. Like, oh, you don't need to no, you don't need to say that. We know the film starts like that. Stop please stop saying redemption. Please don't mention it. Oh, she mentioned it again. Really? And right now before the big final scene. Why do you have to do that? So yeah, I have some qualms with that, and I know why. Because we're writing towards an audience that just wants to see the car crashes.
Well,
I get that. We're writing for the flyover states. I apologize if that's really wrong to say.
That is
true.
Wrong.
But it is wrong, but it's also true. And I understand all of that. So I do have qualms with the script as far as being a bit too blatant, but the film is about the visuals more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, to finish my statement from before, it's where they take the visual effects, real stunts. None of that is groundbreaking, but they do take it to a higher level. Like the stuntmen on the poles, circus people. I mean, that, real stunts like that it's not really groundbreaking. You go see Cirque du Soleil and see the same thing, but they utilize it in a movie where that's not really been done before to that extent. But it's just visually incredible.
I've said this in the past too. When we talk about remakes,
yeah,
I've always said, don't remake classics. Remake the original low budget shit films where they didn't have the money but they still made something great.
Yeah.
And say what could we have done with like a $200 million budget for that? And like, it's like, don't remake Casablanca, remake like an Elvis film. Or remake a Roger Corman film. And say, okay, let's take this that gained popularity but it was shot for like $50. And see what happens with $100 million. That's what this is. This is Mad Max. Okay, here's this cult classic that was shot on like a shoestring budget and is still popular today. What could they have done if we had taken that director and they literally take that director and say, okay, here's $200 million, go fucking insane. That's what we need for remakes. Stop remaking don't remake E.T., remake Warriors of the Lost World. As a bad example. I'm just throwing a name out there.
Or just the Warriors.
The Warriors. Remake the Warriors. Give them a budget. See what they can do. Anything like that. Take that low-budget classic film and see what you can do with a big budget. And they do it here, and unlike The Hitcher, where they fucked it up, they did it right here. And see,
that's a movie that I think shouldn't be remade because the Hitcher is so good. The one with C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer. It's so good. How do you recreate those little nuances that between Rutger Hauer and C. Thomas Howell? Just the sheer craziness, the how insane Rutger Hauer is, the death wish. You can't recreate it.
I do believe as like leading up as we're going to keep mentioning it as we lead up to the 200th episode.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the Hitcher remake is when Moviesucktastic was born.
I think
because when the movie came out, I didn't see it. And we, you and I are living apart. And I remember there was things like, it's like 2 years after the remake.
I think I had just bought this house. The house that we're in now. I think I had just bought this house. We were down here in my basement. We finally got together to watch the Hitcher remake.
Stop! You're losing a part of it because I told you at one point because we talk on the phone and stuff. I said, Joey, I still haven't seen the Hitcher remake because I can't watch it alone.
Yeah.
I need you there. I can't watch it with somebody that doesn't understand like you do why this film is going to be so bad. So please, so I held off like 2 years to watch the remake of The Hitcher until I could see it with Joey.
Yeah, and
so we're in this basement.
And God's honest truth, I never watched it before we watched it together.
Right.
It's
truth. It's like there's nobody else I can watch this with. I need to see it with you, Joey. Please, you'll understand. And so it's like late at night, his house in his basement, in his little media room, and we're watching it, and we're just bitching and talking nonstop through it. And about halfway through, I turned to Joey because I've been listening to podcasts. There's a couple things I'm listening to, and I'm following stuff. So I turned to Joey about halfway through, and I say, what we're like doing now, like just like bitching about this film nonstop. There are people like record this shit and post it.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Yeah, they podcast this shit all the time. Really? So yeah, we should do stuff like that because we're bitching about it anyway.
And I think at the time, and you said, yeah, we could do 100 episodes easy, and now we're going towards our 200th.
Right. I was like, yeah, why not? And then like a month later, we like during a bad movie night at his house, when we were showing Tron outside. We record the just say welcome to Moviesucktastic into the microphone, and we'll slow it down on this. It's like there's our opening. There, we should be doing this.
We've been using it ever since.
And it's the same fucking one. It's like one of the few things we haven't changed.
The two things we haven't changed is that and the music, the theme music. Mm-hmm. Why change what works?
Because your cousin made that for a special.
That's right. No, well, he didn't make it for a special, but it's original music.
He gave it to us.
Yes,
he gave it to us.
Yes, he did.
We also have a slow version of it, like it's called like Love Theme from Moviesucktastic that we never use.
We used to use it to end the show. Way back in the beginning. This is all shit we should be doing in the 200th. And we could do it again. But way back in the beginning, we used to use the theme music you hear now in the opening, and then the love music or the theme.
The love theme, Movie
The
Sucktastic.
love theme for Moviesucktastic at the end. Yeah. Oh my. But anyway, back to Mad Max.
Mad Max. I mean,
I don't know how much we could actually talk about this. It's always hard to talk about movies you really enjoy.
now do me a favor. What's the number of the episode where we reviewed Mad Max originally? Find that out for me.
The original Mad Max?
No. What's the number of the episode where we originally reviewed Mad Max?
You mean Fury Road? I don't think we've reviewed Mad Max before.
Yes, we did. We did an episode after we watched it. I don't know if we did the full episode on it, but we reviewed it. We didn't dedicate too much time to it because everyone else was reviewing it. We're like, well, we're not going to spend 5 hours on this because everybody else is. But we have reviewed it in a previous episode. If you can't find it, don't worry about it. But anyway,
I'm telling you, I don't believe we have.
And we have, because you saw it for your birthday. We talked about it because we talked about the ending, and we're leading up to that now. But I mean, there's not much to say about the film as far as, like, again, special effects are amazing. The car chases are fucking amazing. The script is good, with some exceptions. But again, that's placating a simpler audience. They give you that. Not to sound too fucking snobbish, but it's true. But that's my last martini. But the ending. Oh my God, how I hate the ending. Now, do you want to describe the ending? Spoiler alert. This is where you want to turn it off if you haven't seen the film yet. I don't think it's going to ruin it for you too much, but please, Joey, explain the ending.
Okay, so after the grand, chase back to where they started, basically,
Right.
they bring back what's left of the no, actually, no, yeah, and Charlize Theron, she goes up like this chain link, kind of platform, and she kind of becomes the new leader at that point, or she does, because of Morton Joe, no longer in the picture, to rule. Well, as she's looking down into the crowd, you see Max. You see Max just looking up at her. She's looking at him, and he just starts making his way through the crowd.
He fades into the crowd. Fucking most cliche.
Then fade to black credits.
I can't tell you how much I hated the fades into the crowd fucking ending. I hate it more than anything. There are some films it works on, like Times Square. It works in Times Square because there's a metaphor going on there that would take too long to get into here. This is just a fucking cop-out to give a happy ending to the film and to have Mad Max still be Mad Max in case we do a sequel. He fades into the crowds. Oh, now that everything's solved, he can't be a part of this because, he's like a loner and he can't handle this. It's like, even though he's made everything right, even though redemption has been delivered, hey, you can't mention redemption 5 times and then go, well, I'm redeemed, but I'm still like, seeking redemption, so I have to keep going. No, you can't do that. You don't do that. I'm telling you, here's where I thought the film should have ended and where I want it to end. Before they make this final trek, because the whole thing is they're escaping the city, so at the last minute they're like, you know what? We have to go back to the city. That's our that's where we have to survive, and they won't be expecting it. And they have this moment where they're sitting up on the hill, and it's like, we're not going to make it. It's like, yeah, like, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words, but like, remember saying, yeah, we're not going to make it. It's like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance. It's the end. This is the end of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Like, oh, there's like what 50, 100 out there. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna go out there and shoot them. Yeah, and like they're going to fucking like, and you see like all the Mexicans everywhere. They're gonna fucking die, right? And say, we're gonna go out there, and we're gonna do this, right? Right. And they go out there, and it just freezes because they're fucking dead. That's how this movie should have fucking ended. It should have been, well, we know we're not gonna make this, right? So, well, we gotta try. And then like they drive off into the desert, and like that's it. Just like the dust cloud takes over the screen, and now you start rolling the credits. That's it. Suicide mission. we're giving up running the only decision. Then start the sequel whatever the fuck you want. But this whole now we're gonna go back and now they'll accept me as your leader, defying all kind of logic, and then I'm gonna fade into the crowd. Oh, what a shitty ending for a great film.
I
know you don't. Disagree.
I do disagree. You are very passionate about hating that ending, and
now
me on the other hand, I'm
admit though.
What?
My ending's better. Admit it.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to deny that. No. That would be a really good ending. Sure.
That's all I ask. All I ask.
Now,
my endings.
We did talk about Mad Max Fury Road previously. It was episode 176, where we reviewed Murders in the Rue Morgue and Dracula's Daughter. We were on this Bela Lugosi kick. Now, this is the synopsis for that episode. It says, couldn't get enough of Lugosi last week. We reviewed Dracula's Daughter, which Lugosi isn't even in, and Murders in the Rue Morgue. Also, Mad Max Fury Road is talked about. So we did do a short mini review for it. And
we were reviewing the Bela Lugosi films because I wrote a book on Bela Lugosi's some of Bela Lugosi's films. It's called Bela Lugosi. It's called what's it called? Holy
shit! It's called Performed by Lugosi.
Thank you. Performed by Lugosi. Martini number 3.
Third martini.
It's called, and that 2's usually my limit, so we're good. It's called Performed by Lugosi.
Yep.
It's about a number of films of Lugosi's that he starred in, except for the one he didn't. And that can be found on Amazon. Just do a search for Performed by Lugosi. It's by S. Michael Wilson, pretentious first initial. And there's no ebook version of that yet because I'm working on it. So shut up. If you do purchase that copy and mail me a copy of it, I will sign it for you and send it back. I will pay for the postage because I'm a whore. So anyway, if I sell 10 copies of that on Amazon, I'm not making really money. So don't worry about it. I'm not trying to sell it for that. I just want people to read it. But that's besides the point.
Well, that's...
Anyway. Third martini. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm not around tomorrow for when you're holding your head. I'm going to be gone from...
No, that's the great thing about gin. I don't get hangovers from gin.
Oh, really?
I write when I'm drunk on gin. I write well on it.
Nice.
Yeah, gin makes a man mean.
So why don't you do this? Why don't you write the synopsis for both of these tonight, so I don't have to?
No. Fuck no. But I mean, anything else to say about Mad Max? I mean, all you can really say is holy shit, the car crashes, and everything else is kind of moot. It's just a great fucking
beginning to end. It's just balls to the wall. Just you couldn't ask for anything more in an action film. Or Mad Max film.
It's got to win at least half the Oscars it's up for technical.
And I think it will.
At least half.
I think it will.
Yeah, and it will because it really deserves it. It's just fucking...
Sound editing. There's no way it's not winning editing. I mean, it's just there's so much going on and it looks perfect.
And you know what? This film proves that, we review a lot of 80s films.
Mm-hmm.
Like Exterminators and shit like that.
Yeah.
Where they have no budget and they just throw all this weird shit in there and it's trying to make... This film proves that you can do that and make a great film if you just have a shitload of money and talent behind it.
Yeah, sure. There's $200 million movies that look great but are shit.
Now, if you have a shitload of money and no talent behind it, you get Prometheus. Well, if you have that talent, you get Mad Max. And again, like I said, this highlights the fact that movies like the original Mad Max, that's a film with no budget but talent behind it that knows how to make something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get somebody who can make something out of nothing, and then you let them make something out of something, you get something fucking amazing. Unless it's Peter Jackson doing King Kong, then you're jumping the shark and everything shits to bed.
Yeah.
But
What do you think his
there's
next
a
movie's going to be? What's he
a line.
What's he in
I don't even wanna
pre-production for?
Don't tell me. Please don't tell me.
I'm going to find out. No, you keep talking, Martini boy.
How many times can I say, Shirley? Oh, and Mad Max, by the way, this whole backlash about the strong female lead, and we got a negative review for our podcast, Moviesucktastic, on iTunes from somebody who was pissed off because we didn't shit can the new Star Wars film.
Yeah.
And they were pissed off because we didn't shit can it because there was a strong female lead and a black lead, and so really, if you're not a misogynistic racist, you'll like our show. But if you are a misogynistic racist, you might want to go and watch reruns of Glenn Beck.
Yeah, that's probably what you want to do.
Or send money to the
Pat Robertson.
The Bundy protesters in Colorado.
Oh,
I mean, take your pick. Is it Colorado or am I fucked up on that? Look who am I asking? You don't watch the news.
And I'm a better man for it.
No, you are. I'm not. No, that was not a criticism, sir. Please, you are the better.
I didn't think it was Colorado.
It's probably not. I'm probably fucked up on that.
Anyway, the very next thing Peter Jackson is doing is The Adventures of Tintin, Prisoners of the Sun.
Oh, I fucking hate you. Right now, I flash back. I am 40. What am I, 42? I'm 42 years old. I can flash back to a young man of 18, 19, 20 maybe, collecting Fangoria magazine and cutting out the pictures from...
Oh, it's Oregon.
Oregon. It was one of those two with the O. And I flash back to Fangoria magazine covering Bad Taste. It's Monty Python meets Reanimator, and oh, wow, this is great. And it's this love affair with same way I feel about Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith and him, same thing. And it's oh, this is great. And seeing all his older films in the theaters and being such a diehard fan of who are we talking about?
Peter Jackson.
Jackson, being such a diehard fan of Peter Jackson and all this, and then he shits out this colossal turd called King Kong. And all my love for this man just seeps out of my anus. Yeah,
it was really quick too, because he went right from Lord of the Rings to The Lovely Bones. I'm sorry. He goes from Lord of the Rings to King Kong to The Lovely Bones, and it was
worse,
straight bad to worse to. Then he goes back and he does the Hobbit films, which, for all intents and purposes, were pretty good.
No.
But it's the only thing he's really directed in the last, 15 years.
And I was for Lord of the Rings, I was there. And for the record, full disclosure, don't like Tolkien. Never read Lord of the Rings. Couldn't make it through The Hobbit. Not a fan. Not only did I watch all these films in the theater, I suffered through the 3-hour discussions afterwards with 3 people at a dinner table discussing the differences between the book and the movie, and I don't give a shit. It's just Peter Jackson's cool. I went through all of that, supporting this man, and then he does King Kong. And I remember at my old job, the one that fired me for no reason whatsoever after 15 years of loyal service. And my coworkers saying, Scott, no one wants to read a 17-page review of King Kong. I was like, that's because you don't read the kind of shit I do. And that's can be found in my book, Monster Rally, which can also be found on Amazon.com. Author S. Michael Wilson. A nice 17-page review of King Kong that puts to rest any notion that film was anything but a colossal fucking turd.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got a rant there. I apologize.
That's okay. Was that the was the 17-page review of King Kong? Was that the one that I contributed to?
No.
Or no? Okay. Because we were doing something for the show that we were going back and forth with. I don't know if that ever made the light of day. I know we did the Superman Returns one.
Oh, that's stuff for the book, the Moviesucktastic book that we keep working on and never get anything done on.
Yeah.
no, the King Kong review. You did contribute to. Well, you have a review in the Monster
The UFO.
Monster Alley. Yeah, the UFO one. That's your name on that. You
Yep.
did that. And we were contributing on reviews for the book. We just haven't got around to it because we're both, you got a family and I've got shit, and and that keeps the both of us busy. And I have a family, just not on paper.
There you go.
I mean, you're
it's the best
legally
kind.
you have it. Yeah, no. Yeah. Technically, I can just move
Leave.
to Alaska right now.
You could just live 4 houses down. Do an about face. There you go.
Change the locks and
this isn't my locker.
My exit strategy is a lot smoother than yours. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yours involves lawyers. Mine involves locksmiths and a lack of care.
Yeah, mine involves money, lots of money, probably some
and
therapy for my children.
And all mine involves is, and that's it. Not that that would ever happen, of course, because I'm very happy with this.
Of course.
But
Of course.
if I wanted to pull the plug on it, it'd be so fucking easy.
Oh shit.
but I haven't, and I wouldn't, and that's what's important, and that's what makes what I have more real than yours. No, I'm kidding.
You've had a lot of martinis.
At least 3.
At least 3.
Anyway, so that's a review for Mad Max.
Now next week.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I have to back up because we just did a review for our last show. We did a review for
The Martian. Yep.
And now we're reviewing Mad Max. One thing we didn't do on the last show, and we need to catch up with this one, is we didn't rate The Martian on IMDb.
Ooh, you're right. Now that's currently rated very
know.
high. I think it's like 8.1 or something.
Yeah, now, what would you rate The Martian, sir?
I think an 8. I'd be fine with an 8. I liked it that much.
I would be fine with a 7. But I'll go 8 because it is well done.
Yes.
8? You agree on 8?
I agree with an 8.
All right. I'm doing 8. Oh, I got to sign in. Fuck you. Hang on a second. Oh. I'll sign in with Facebook. No. What the fuck? I was signed in before. What are you doing? All right. Hang on. Log in. Holy shit. No, I'm logged in. All right. Hang on. 8. 8 stars. Reviewed. It's not even worth doing the demographics. It's like fucking 7 or 8 across the board. It's not even worth it. So then Mad Max, Fury Road,
rated at 8.2.
What would you say for this? I'm obviously not going to do a 10 because of the fucking ending.
No, and I agree with that. I mean, I could go 9 on that easily. I would never. I would not go lower than an 8. Period.
I wouldn't go lower than 8 either. But is it fair to give it a 9 or?
Because you hated the ending. I don't think it's that bad. A 9, I'd be comfortable with a 9.
The only reason I'm comfortable with a 9 is because cinematography-wise and just the stunts and the coordination, it's fucking flawless.
It truly is. Yeah.
Really. So, just based on that, it's like if you're going to give Lawrence of Arabia a 9 because it really, they do the desert scenes and all that, then this deserves a 9 for everything it did here. So I'm going to say 9 too.
Cool. Excellent.
I feel a little guilty saying 9, but we'll go with 9. And then the demographics on this is probably the same thing. You know what? The only thing I see that's remarkable is that if you break it down by age, the highest demographic is ages 18 to 29, 8.3%, and then it slowly downgrades to females aged 45 and over only give it 7.2. So elderly women, film wasn't made for you. And we knew that before we saw the demographics. So, males aged 18 to 29, definitely your game. That's why you have the top demographic. That's the only. Yeah. Other than that, IMDb staff gave it 8.5. Who gives a fuck? Really? Yeah, you really broke the curve there.
There you go.
All right.
So
I'm mean to the IMDb staff, but that's just because they're there. I apologize.
well, they kind of deserve it.
They do. That's why I say it. But that's why my apology is hollow and not heartfelt.
There you go.
But it's still legitimate on paper.
There you go. So that's it. Yeah.
By the way, before we go, I just want to say once again, they made a sequel to Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah, we did mention that 2 weeks ago.
We did, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that they made a sequel to Olympus Has Fallen.
Didn't I say that movie made like 200-300 million worldwide or some shit like that?
Yeah, and then the part of my brain that should remember that blocked it because that shit's fucking stupid. So I've rejected that as reality, and I'm still trying to figure out why they made a sequel called London Has Fallen. That looks like it cost even more money.
Let's see. Olympus Has Fallen, $70 million budget, made $98 million in the U.S., and it only made $62 million foreign. So I thought it made more than that. It only made $161 million, but it was.
What's the budget to London? What's the budget to London?
It was profitable. It's called London Is Falling.
Yes.
London has fallen. They might not have the budget for this. It doesn't have it on Box Office Mojo, but I can find out.
Because if they spent more money on this than the first one, then someone needs just to be fucking kneecapped at that studio.
I want to say that they probably didn't spend more money because of the fact that the first one cost $70.
It's a bigger film.
But it cost $70 and made $160. Just doing the math alone is like we can't go over $70 again.
But this one goes to London. It's like it's on location. It's even bigger.
I don't know.
Because it's not Olympus.
I don't know.
Hey, you know what? The first film...
Oh, God. They did spend more money.
How much?
$105 million.
Oh, fuck. All right. Here's how bad I hate this sequel without even seeing it. Now, have you seen Olympus Has Fallen?
I haven't.
Okay, I have nothing to offer.
Now, comes out March 4th. Doesn't the new Batman film come out in March?
Probably.
What are they thinking?
Here's the major problem I have with this, even besides the fact they actually made a fucking sequel to it. The first film was called Olympus Has Fallen, right?
Right.
Now, what's Olympus? It's a code that means that the White House has been infiltrated, right?
Right.
It's a code. The second film was called London Has Fallen. Why? Because we can't think of another fucking code. Holy shit. And everybody's giving Michael Bay shit because he made another Transformers film? How come everyone's not jumping on this shit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there's an Angry Birds movie. Okay, great. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm just going to fucking kill myself.
For kids. Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice comes out on the 25th of March. So
I'm still iffy on that. I'm still iffy.
Well, let's put it this way. I have a lot more faith in it than Joker's Grill.
I disagree.
Fine.
I disagree. You know, again, because the Batman films just keep getting darker, and they're going to hit a dark point. And you know what? Let me just say this real quick. World's Finest. This is like a comic book miniseries back in like the late 90s where Batman and Superman swapped cities. And it contrasted like the brightness of Superman and the darkness of Batman. And this film is like just making both characters dark. Like Man of Steel made Superman darker, and it's too dark.
Hold on. With that said, that was a welcome change. That was a welcome change for Superman.
Yes, I'll give you that. But again, and this is something it's like, remember when I was saying before, if you go back to like Spider-Man when the first one came out, I was like, oh, thank God they're finally making superhero films for adults where they're like, they're making it real and they're not just making comic-y. And then like you fast forward to now and I'm saying, can we just have some fun? Why is everything so dark and serious?
That's why Guardians of the Galaxy did so well.
Yeah, I agree, so I feel bad because this is like it's like they went from one side to the other, but they went too far, too far.
Yeah.
And it feels like everything's too serious. Ant-Man should not be so fucking serious of a film, and it wasn't, but it was too serious for it to be. Holy shit! That's why when I saw that they're making Justice League, and I think Blue Beetle's going to be in it, it's like, thank fucking God, we need Blue Beetle.
Well, you know what? You want to talk about like fun comic book movies? Deadpool next month. That is gonna be fucking great.
Now, am I correct in saying that originally they had it slated for January release?
No, that was never a January release.
I thought they had it slated for late January.
Nope. February was always the release period for it. I've never seen a trailer. I've never read one release schedule for it that had it in January.
Now, full disclaimer, and I feel bad for this. I was a DC fan growing up, reading comic books. That's funny because like I made Holly watch the Suicide Squad trailer, and she's like watching it. It's like, I don't know who any of these people are. It's like I know Harley Quinn and the Joker. I don't know who the fuck any of these people are, because she read Marvel growing up. And I was like, well, it's Captain Boomerang. Holy shit! I don't give a fuck about that's Captain Boomerang. It's like, who the fuck is Captain Boomerang? You don't know who Captain Boomerang is? And I've been trying to explain to her what Suicide was. So the bad guys, why would they release them? No, but they're working for the good guys. So, but they're bad guys. So yeah, but that's why it's called Suicide Squad, because they take the bad guys because they're expendable and they put them on a mission for good. And like I don't ever read the comic itself, but I know like if they win, like they don't go back to jail or something happens, but it's good for them, so that's why they do it. But that's the whole point of the Suicide Squad. Say, but they're bad guys, so you're not following me. So she read Marvel growing up. Two different worlds, DC and Marvel.
They really are.
Right. So for full disclosure, Deadpool, I never read Deadpool. When he first came out, I didn't. I kind of shunned Marvel because I was a DC guy. Justice League, I was really into that. The fun given to Mattis.
Did you hear that there was an online petition to have Deadpool released as PG-13? Did you read that?
No. Oh, who the fuck would do that?
It obviously the online petition has gained some ground.
You know why? You know why? Because Deadpool gained notoriety because they put him in the fucking cartoons.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, he's in the cartoon. That's where all these fucking kids, like my younger stepdaughter, Lilith. She's like, kids her age, they know Deadpool from the fucking cartoons.
Oh no.
That's where they do. If you go to Tumblr, that Facebook thing without real words.
Yeah.
They like if you do Deadpool in Tumblr, it's all these like screenshots from the cartoon and shit, and like, that's where they learned it. They don't know, people our age, that Deadpool is actually a comic book character, not a cartoon fucking character.
Right.
So
and
these people,
it's extremely violent. It is extremely explicit.
Extremely violent. Yeah, he was like the Marvel version of like Ambush Bug, I would say, because like breaks the fourth wall, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's a wise ass.
So, right. Yeah. So Ambush Bug, but violent and more violent, and but I feel guilty for not having read Deadpool back then because of that. So full disclosure, I have no attachment to Deadpool from the comic book era, even though I'm a comic book fan, because I read mostly DC, and I'm so looking forward to this movie.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait.
And Suicide Squad, because again, I think they're injecting the humor back in it. And again, Suicide Squad's DC, Deadpool's Marvel. I wonder which one of those was started first, like which was greenlit first, because it feels like one of them is a reaction to the other. I really feel
Suicide Squad has been trying to get made for a long time.
I really feel like Deadpool is a reaction to, not to put any not to decrement like the audience base for Deadpool, because it is there, but I really feel like it's like, oh, DC's doing their dark anti-villain film. Well, what does Marvel have for anti-villain? Deadpool. Let's do that. Not to say it won't be good, but I really feel like Deadpool is a reaction to.
I don't know if that's
Suicide.
true. Only for this reason.
I don't know either. I'm just
No.
guessing.
Only for this reason. They did test footage for the Deadpool movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago, and
Right,
it got released. It
But
wasn't
how
supposed
long
to, but it did.
Right. But how long has Suicide Squad been in pre-production? Again, you can't.
At least
you can't
twice
think
that.
release-
At least 3 or 4 years.
That's what I mean. You can't think release dates. You got to think, hey, this studio's doing this shit. Well, we have to do something comparable to that and get out at the same time. So, well, what's comparable? Say, well, DC versus Marvel's got a pretty fucking big now, especially since Disney bought out Marvel.
Well,
Because now it's Disney
but where I'm going with it is, Deadpool probably wasn't going to be, made into a film, but because the test footage, because it got leaked, and people responded to it so well, it moved forward very fast.
Right. So all I'm positing is perhaps that test footage would not have existed if Suicide Squad wasn't getting pushed because they wanted to do this. And also, again, the Justice League movie they're coming out with, which Batman versus Superman is is the prequel to.
Right.
Obviously, the only reason they're trying to get this Justice.
No. The Justice League film. No, the Batman versus Superman is not a prequel. Justice League is going to be the prequel.
Right. No. Right. They're introducing Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
In the Batman. It's a build-up to Justice League, is what I'm saying.
But the storyline is Frank Miller, and that's way after Justice League.
No. Right. Does Wonder Woman appear in Dark Knight Rise and Dark Knight?
No.
No. I rest my case. They're using it to build up to Justice League because they're trying to compete against the Marvel universe that's fucking sprung out of nowhere and has taken over the fucking Hollywood. So they're doing that to build up towards that. That's going to be the Justice League because Avengers has came to the forefront and fucking took over. That's why they're doing that.
Okay.
So Suicide Squad has been on the books. Justice League's been on the books for years. Suicide Squad's been being pushed at the same time Justice League been being pushed, and then it's like, okay, Suicide Squad's coming out. We need something that mimics that. Deadpool's a great idea. It's a solo character, so we don't risk too much. So we're not invested in it, but we'll cross it over X-Men. So if we have to, we can bring them into the universe. It's fucking genius, both sides. But I'm saying this is all orchestrated. It's competition. It's not just, what are we gonna do next? They're thinking 10 years down the line.
And you know what? To compete with Marvel, which is now $1 billion movie franchise, they have to.
And holy shit! Do you remember 20 years ago?
Oh yeah.
20 years ago, if someone said Marvel film to you, what do?
You'd laugh out loud. Now, what? You mentioned
what
it
Marvel film are
before.
you talking about?
You mentioned it
talking about
before.
Punisher?
Yeah, right. You mentioned it
Captain
before.
America.
What?
Oh, wait, what? Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
What was the film that kicked off this whole comic book franchise, $1 billion franchise? You mentioned it before. It was Spider-Man. Spider-Man kicked it off. That was the first time that just about I think it was the first time a comic book film was made to where you didn't want to, kill yourself, that it was so bad.
Here's the problem.
And it was this stepping stone for everyone to say, listen, if you have the talent, you can do this.
Here's the problem. Here's what happened. Up until Spider-Man, DC ruled the Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Superman was the only superhero film out there that anybody even considered. Even like Superman 4, whatever, it's still the only one out there. Anything else that came out was just complete shit. Because they kept selling it to children. Children. That's all they would sell it to. Spider-Man was the first one that said, listen, this is not just for little kids. This is a major film. Now, they did that with the first Superman, too, but then they lost their way.
Yeah.
By Superman 4, like, okay, this is, we have no budget, whatever. And I don't know how the fuck that happens, but, so Spider-Man's like, okay, we're gonna build a new franchise, and it's obviously geared towards young audiences too, but we're gonna make a serious film about a real film about it. We use real, just like the comic books. We're gonna have the real characters, real situations. There's drama involved. And we're making a real fucking movie. Up until that point,
Milvey?
when Burton did
Did
movie, you heard me.
I did hear you. He said Milvey.
I don't know what I said. But when Burton did Batman and did so well, and then it was like, oh, okay, then we just have to do everything like really weird and over the top and like stylized. They're like, oh, fuck. And Tim Burton self-destructed and then turned into Joel Schumacher, who beat it to fucking death with a baseball bat.
Yeah, blacklight.
And they lost the whole point that there's a whole market out there, and then Sam Raimi found that market again. It's like, oh, yeah, because we're going to make a real film here. These people have been fucking starving for this for fucking generations. And after Spider-Man came out, Wolverine came out, X-Men came out, or vice versa. And I think that was still kind of stagnating a bit until Watchmen turned the tide. Because Watchmen said, it's not just superheroes, it's a fucking, it's like a whole mythos.
Yep.
And I think Watchmen, even though X-Men and Spider-Man built the foreground, Watchmen just finally said, listen, period, this is so much more than you're allowing it to be. And that's when Joss Whedon and J.J. Abrams and everybody's like, oh, fuck, shit, let's just,
You know what, you're right, I apologize. I did forget about X-Men that came out in 2000.
Yeah, well, no, don't apologize. I mean, there's all the shit
Which
kind of bled together.
That was also Marvel, but it wasn't. It was separate. It was 20th Century Fox owned that, and to this day they still own the X-Men franchise, and that's why they're not in the Marvel universe.
Right.
So, which is, I think, 20th Century Fox shooting themselves in the foot. In the new Captain America film, they've taken Spider-Man because, to an extent, Spider-Man was also in his own Marvel universe. Now he's going to be in the new Captain America film, the Civil War.
But Spider-Man, I mean, in comic books, Spider-Man obviously crossed over with all that shit.
Of course, he was part of the Avengers at one point.
Yeah. So, but I mean, and you're correct about and that's why they're putting X-Men into Deadpool, because they're hoping Deadpool will kind of breathe more life into the X-Men franchise. They can make another X-Men film.
Right.
Because they're competing against this whole. It's weird. Because I don't know. It's like the lines get drawn based on copyright laws, and it's so crossovers have always been fucking weird. But so after Watchmen, they start. Joss Whedon, the fucking genius, is like, all right, we're just gonna start building this fucking. He's got 10 years down the line planned. Every single Marvel film is building up towards the Avengers, and after that, we got a franchise that'll fucking destroy all. Fuck Star Wars.
Hold on, Zack Snyder did Watchmen, not Joss Whedon.
No, but I'm talking about after Watchmen.
Fine, okay.
Those
two sentences combined.
Right. Sorry. No,
okay.
I apologize if I was a little bit off there. Watchmen turned the tide as far as taking superhero films seriously, and then Joss Whedon going forward with the superhero stuff. It's like, here's how we're going to orchestrate the Avengers universe.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And
so it was fun. The Avenger movies, they're fun movies.
This long rant, all I'm saying is, like, going back 20 years when I was like, or 25, when I was a teenager at a comic book store, it was like, oh shit, we got a bootleg of Punisher, let's watch that. I mean, back when DC ruled the world, we're at a point now where DC is desperately trying to catch up, because all they've got going for them is Batman, the Joker, and Superman. Still this kind of weird thing where, okay, it did well, but everybody hated it for some reason because people died. But what the fuck? God forbid we made a good Superman film and everybody's pissed at it because it was too good.
Yeah.
What the fuck's that? So Justice League coming up forward. So that's all I'm saying, is that Deadpool is a reaction to Suicide Squad, and Suicide Squad is just a way to preempt Justice League, because Justice League's trying to catch up to Avengers.
Well stated. Well, and Zack Snyder is doing the Justice League. He's doing Justice League Part 1 and Part 2, because everything has to be split into multiple parts.
Well,
Although,
but that's good for this.
You know, it's
For
fine.
comic book
It's
films,
fine for
fine,
this.
Pat.
I just don't like the fact that it's being called Part 1 and Part 2. It should be called Justice League, blah blah blah, and then Justice League, blah blah
All right.
blah.
I agree with that because it's not like we're adapting the last Twilight book, and it's such a good book. We need 2 films to cover it.
Yeah, no, they just wanted to make $2 billion.
And isn't it ironic that every series now that every young adult novel series that's adapted to the screen, that last book is so good that we have to put in 2 films.
Yeah.
The last Harry Potter novel and that last Precious Hunger Games novel, they're just so good. There's so much in them. It's almost like Tolkien, where we can't just do it in 1 movie. We have to do it in 2.
3.
Or 3.
3.
You know, what the fuck?
It should have been done in 2. Actually, The Hobbit should have been made into 1 movie.
Really?
But that's
we
a whole...
couldn't squeeze the last Harry Potter book into 1 fucking film? Yeah, Les Miserables, we managed to get into 1 film, and that book's like 800 fucking pages?
Yeah.
Really? Fuck. And you know, this is neither here nor there, but I just started my I'm going back and taking a creative writing course because I just need the structure because I'm finishing a novel I'm working on, and I'm with all. I think I'm the oldest person in the room, which is the first time ever I'm the oldest person in the room.
Oh wow!
And all these fucking kids. It's all kids and me, and I was waiting for at least 1 older person because there's always been 1 older person. There's always been somebody in their 60s or 70s, like, oh, you know, I'm going back to. There's always been someone. No, fuck it. I'm the oldest one in the room, and everybody's introducing themselves and talking about the last book they read, and I'll be fucking damned if half that fucking room is reading Harry Potter.
Come on, really?
And I'm like, and the fact that I didn't say anything just proves how good of a person I am. Because I just want to start throwing chairs.
Now, what was the last book that you read and announced, and everyone in the class was like, "What?"
Well, you want to know exactly what I said?
Sure.
Because I've been trying to catch up on my reading. I said, well, the last book I've read is this. It's a course on creative writing fiction. So I said the last book I read is a poetry collection from the 1950s called And Another Thing. But the last book of fiction I read, and I don't think it's the last one I've read, but it's the last one I could think of, was Thomas Pynchon's Inherent Vice because I read it because I watched the movie. And it's not the last book I read, but it's the last book I could think of. Was Inherent Vice.
And how did the class react to that?
No one blinked an eye.
Oh, okay.
But everybody's like, oh yeah, and I'm reading the Harry Potter series. And I was like, and you know what? You're in fucking college! And that series came out when you were a fucking child! That's when you should have read it, you fucking child! God damn it! Damn you! Damn you, your fucking youth, you fuck you!
Damn you, dirty apes!
And you know what? I told them all that I also record a podcast called Moviesucktastic, so if any of you are listening to this now, I apologize.
On that note...
Just a bitter middle-aged man just ranting against everything.
Yeah. We went longer than we were supposed to for this, but it was worth it.
I'm sorry.
It's quite alright. Alright. Episode... yeah, 196 of Moviesucktastic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby. Cranking them out. Making up for some lost time.
Down to 200.
Almost. I was in Romper Room.
What episode? I need to find
out. I don't know. It's an early one. The first 20 or 30 episodes.
I gotta listen to them all now. Shit.
It's the first 20 or 30.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure of that. It's before we started doing it through Skype, which started in episode 39 or 40? 40, I think.
I'm trying to find it.
Anyway.
Now the urination. I'm still...
Go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com. Download any of the shows there. They're all there for you to download. Listen to the show right from the page. Or what we actually prefer and what we recommend is for you to tune in live every Thursday at 8 o'clock.
In this case, 7:05.
You don't have to tell them that. Nobody knows. We went on a little early tonight. It's fine. But we've been on the air for 2.5, 3 hours. Jeez. Anyway, you can also go to iTunes and you can download our show there as well. If you're there, leave a review. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Moviesucktastic.
Leave a review as long as you don't call us Jew lovers.
Yeah.
We're actually, let me rephrase that. You can call us Jew lovers as long as you give us 5 stars. Because I don't understand why it's a bad thing.
It's not.
I agree.
Yeah. You can go to our Tumblr page at tumblr.com, or I'm sorry, moviesucktastic.tumblr.com, and we got some good stuff there. You can download the free Android app for your phone or your tablet. We have a mobile version of the website for iPhone users and Android users too, but just use the app for that. If you want to leave us voicemail, it's 908-514-4470. If you want to email us, the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. And, well, that just about does it. Do you have any words of wisdom?
His name is the Knight Rider. Say it!
Maybe next time. But Thank you for that. Anyway. Alright, everyone. We'll talk to you next week. Next week we'll be reviewing The Revenant and Bridge of Spies.
AKA, what's with all these spies and fuck that bear?
Yeah, the Black Bear was good. Didn't get a nomination. But the Black Bear was good.
Why is he called
The Black Bear didn't get nominated. Yeah.